Everyone's over here telling you to join the 5 a.m. club. And I'm over here wondering, but what time are you going to bed? Hi, I'm Megan and I'm a productivity expert. And today I'm going to tell you why the 5 a.m. club may not be for you. Yes, you heard me right. While everyone else is out there telling you you need to wake up, rise and grind at dawn, I'm over here saying maybe don't. All right. So today I'm going to be breaking down exactly why I personally never recommend the 5 a.m. club as the end all be all of solutions and what maybe you should be focusing on instead if you want realistic, sustainable productivity in your life. All right. So, first, let's start with the most obvious question that somehow everyone seems to skip. What time are you going to bed? If you're getting up for the 5 a.m. club, meaning your alarm's going off at 5 a.m., but you're not going to sleep till 11, maybe midnight, because you're finishing up everything from your day, maybe you're only getting 5, 6 hours of sleep. And guess what? That is a recipe for burnout. It also means that over the course of your day, you're not operating at your best. Your body needs sleep to function. It needs sleep to make good decisions. It needs sleep to have energy. It needs sleep to show up as the best person you can be, right? And getting up earlier doesn't just magically create more hours in your day. All it does is shift your energy level. So you may be getting, quote, more hours in your day, but if they're not quality hours, what's the point, right? Now, the second thing we need to talk about here, let's talk about the big fat elephant in the room that I never see discussed as part of the 5 a.m. club. And let's talk about parents with really young kids, especially moms. Usually we're the ones that are carrying the burden of this, right? Maybe you already have a toddler that is getting you up at 5:15 in the morning, right? Because that's when they decide their day starts. Maybe you've got a teething baby and you're getting up 3 times in the middle of the night, or a younger kid who has a nightmare, or someone who got sick in the middle, right? Well, the last thing you need is some productivity guru telling you that now you have to get up at 5 a.m. no matter what. Guys, that is not self care or success. That's self punishment. All right. Now, let's talk about the third thing. And this is something that the 5 a.m. club also completely ignores. We are not all wired the same way. Some people are naturally morning people, and others are night owls. I see this in my own house. I have always been more of a morning person. Now, not 5 a.m. I have never, not even in my college days, thrived as a night owl. Now, on the flip side, my daughter has never been a morning person. She thrives later in the day. So if you are forcing yourself to wake up at 5 a.m., right? And you are not one of those types of people where it actually is serving you well, it is not in your biology, it is not in your, natural rhythms. It's kind of like forcing yourself to eat when you're not hungry, right? You could do it, but you don't feel good. So productivity doesn't only happen in the early hours of the day. And productivity isn't about conforming to a set schedule. The real secret to productivity is about working with your own natural biological rhythms, not against them. Now, another thing that really gets me is this I'm going to call it kind of the time shift myth, if you will. Most people who join the 5 a.m. club are essentially just shifting their day earlier, but they're not actually getting more hours. So maybe they're getting up to do the 5 a.m. club, but then by about 2:30 in the afternoon, they're kind of done, right? I tried this several years ago. Anytime I read something about productivity, I'm like, well, let me test it out here. Let me do the research. Let me do all that. So I did this for quite some time. I did not need necessarily my calendar didn't show I had to get up at 5 a.m. I was like, "Let me give this a go." And I started to notice that every evening when we were, having family time, I was, nodding off by 7 o'clock. We were trying to play a game or maybe watch a movie. I could never stay awake. Now, compare that to someone who gets up at 7 a.m. and they're kind of feeling good all the way till 4:30. There's no difference in that window of getting stuff done. Right? The only difference is that the person that says, "I get up at 5 a.m." feels more superior. So the 5 a.m. club makes you think you're getting extra time, but you're not. You're just kind of rearranging the same 24 hours, and you may not be working as efficiently as you would be if you slept in till 6:30. Okay. Now, I do want to discuss like the appeal of the 5 a.m. club and some of the positive messaging behind it. Because one of the intents with the 5 a.m. club is that you are prioritizing time for yourself. But what we're saying is the only way you can get that is to get up when everybody else is asleep. That's horrible, right? What it's basically implying is when other people are awake, it is now your job to be on, be in service, and be doing thing. Why are we forcing time for ourselves, quiet time, self-care, whatever you want to call it? Why are we forcing that to happen at 5 a.m.? Why not instead create a plan for your day that allows you to prioritize yourself even when other people are actually awake? And for any other moms that are watching this, what a great thing for us to teach our kids is that they are seeing us prioritize ourselves even when they're awake, so that we are subtly letting them know that when they too get older, right? They get to do this as well. So what if instead of, waking up in the dark to get time for yourself, what if you took a walk at 2 p.m.? What if you got 30 minutes of time for yourself after dinner to quietly read a book and relax? What if you got a cup of coffee while, someone else is managing the morning breakfast routine? So the problem isn't that you need time for yourself. The problem is that we're subtly saying the only way you can get this is by punishing yourself with a 5 a.m. alarm. Now, I want to also address the one kind of, I think, the biggest lie that this 5 a.m. club implies, and it is this. They say that the secret to success is waking up early. And I see a lot of productivity experts or people who are just very successful. And so they're always talking about why they're successful. They're all landing it on because they get up at 5 a.m. I do not get up at 5 a.m. I am a definition of a very productive, successful person. I run a business that produces, 7 plus figures run rate every year. I am also the primary caregiver in our home. I only work 20 to 25 hours a week. I have work life harmony. I do prioritize myself during the day, and I'm able to be present with my family and no longer dozing off on the couch at 7 p.m. at night. Success is not about suffering, right? It's not about hustle. It's not about setting your alarm clock earlier than anybody else. It's about creating systems that work for your actual life and your actual biology. So, what do I recommend instead? Well, why don't you create a morning routine that works for the realities of your life and your schedule? Maybe it's waking up at 6 a.m. and taking 15 minutes for yourself. Maybe your calendar supports you sleeping all the way till 7:30 because you're more of a night owl and you love to wake up and just have a relaxed breakfast with your family maybe, right? The point is you get to dictate what that looks like. Maybe you have to start your day doing some stuff for the family and then later in the morning you have that quiet space for yourself. The goal is not to ever to conform to somebody else's definition of a successful morning routine. The goal is to start your day feeling good about yourself and knowing how to prepare yourself for the day ahead. So remember, real productivity is not tied to an alarm clock, right? It never should be tied to an alarm clock. You deserve to start your day in a way that feels good and does not feel like a punishment. So, curious to know what time would you naturally like to wake up, right? Like what time would your body be getting up? I know for me, naturally, I would probably wake up. I would kind of go to bed around 10:30, probably get up at 7:30. Now, does my calendar support that? No. Monday through Friday, I do have to get up earlier to support my goals and I'm getting enough sleep still. But I'm always curious to know, like, if you were to just let yourself go with natural body rhythm, let me know in the comments, what time would you naturally get up? And then what time are you currently getting up? Remember, your alarm clock does not dictate your success or your productivity.